I had a very interesting conversation with an HR director of a very large organization. She was telling me about the situation and the predicament that a number of her employees are currently in. At this
Hmm.
point right now, and this is something that they're getting ready to implement. At this point right now, they didn't have any limitations on the salary deductions or restrictions on the
Yeah,
amount. And so persons were just getting salary deduction after salary deduction, where some people, she told me some people are taking home $50,
that's it. Yep, I can
$50
see it.
out of their
Hmm.
paycheck.
I think employers need to be very proactive in this area because when you're not, when somebody is financially stressed, especially when they have borrowed well above the appropriate debt service ratio,
Mhm.
what tends to happen is they don't show up to work. Theft,
Theft.
theft is at an all-time high. I was sitting in a session the other day, and a professor from Georgetown said that when he was looking at one of the companies that he did some consultancy with, simple company. I think they were producing eggs, and as he walked throughout the facility, he the employee was telling them that the chickens are producing at the maximum level, but we can't figure out where the eggs are going, and he immediately knew what was going on because he saw how people were paid and the debt service ratios attached to it. And he said, let me walk the floor myself. And when he walked the floor, he started to have conversations with persons. And they were very transparent with him. They began to show him where they were hiding the extra eggs so that they could go home and sell it to the local market. You could sit there and say, well, that's not going to happen to us. We're a service based company. That's not going to happen to us. You'll be shocked and amazed when persons are desperate and then in a desperate situation, what they are prepared and willing to do.
Mhm.
They are less productive. And sometimes, even when they're at their station, there is a statistics that say they spend 5 hours per week at their station thinking about their money problems and not working.
Yeah.
You can imagine that? And you can't be insensitive to say, well, leave your home problems at the door when you walk into the organization. You can't say that because the reality of it is what they're dealing with is so real that they can't focus whether they're at work or not. PricewaterhouseCoopers in the last 10 years would have done a study on financial wellness in the workplace in North America. And the UK has a similar study as well. And they have concluded that 54% of employees in the workplace are financially stressed. So for every two persons you see in your workplace, one of them is financially stressed and has nothing to do with income, nothing to do with position. So now, just looking at these statistics, these persons who are in your organization, they're slowly but surely becoming disengaged and dissatisfied because they cannot respond. Giving them more money does not fix the issue. It might, in some cases, it compounds the issue
Because of the lifestyle inflation, right?
because of lifestyle inflation.
And
It may have
the persons may not know what lifestyle inflation is. So explain that.
So let's just say you make $30,000. You got a promotion that bumps you up to now $40,000. So there's an extra $10,000 within the year that you would have. Within the first 2 months, you will experience that increase. But thereafter that, because you're gonna find expenses just naturally. In some cases, you can't even identify what those are expenses are that you will naturally take on and put you right back in the same predicament you were in before you even get the promotion.
Paycheck to paycheck.
You are right back into a paycheck to paycheck. And simply because most persons who are in that don't budget, they have what we call the mental budget. So they're not conscious of the expenses that are putting them back into that paycheck to paycheck. And so to the HR directors and the employers and the small business owners, I would say to you, financial wellness, financial education is paramount. We focus on health a lot, bringing in the experts, bringing in the dietitians, bringing in the nurses to do the biometrics and all of those wonderful things. And that is great. But two areas that you have to consider: mental health and financial health.
Yeah.
Because the number one thing that most persons inside the organization is focused on is their pay. It's how they want to live their lifestyle. It's how they want to create memories and experiences for them and their loved ones. And the greatest thing you can do is empower them with the information so that they can live a better lifestyle. So, my advice to you, take the time out, engage the professionals in corporate wellness, engage the professional in financial education. And what tends to happen, and let me say this too, what tends to happen, what we call financial education is not really financial education. What I mean by that is we will bring in somebody from a financial institution. They will come in and they will talk about 3 points: their organization, they will talk about their products and how it's superior to everybody else in customer service. That's the script. They do it for banking, they do it for insurance, they do it for investment. And nowhere in that conversation has anything to do with the needs of the people inside the room. So, how can you say that that truly helped or engaged them? It didn't. It did nothing for them. Matter of fact, in some cases, it may have compounded the problem because after that presentation, now you have an uptick of requests
For loans.
to
Yeah.
said company.
Yeah.
You really need the help. And what I've found is, in some cases, the group sessions are great, but more importantly, sometimes they need that one on one. Because Mary, Susie, Johnny in the session, they're not going to bring up their business.
That's
They're not
true.
going to talk about what they're faced with.
That's
And
true.
you might need that one on one of, hey, this is what I'm dealing with. I got this responsibility. I got this commitment. I have this, and this. Now you can talk that through. This is what you need to do. Here's a plan.